Hey, Darren. Glad to have you on. Are you in Montreal? Oh, man, my hair's horrible. I need a haircut. Oh, I should flip on my gear so it looks impressive behind me. Makes me look like a real amateur. Oh, Steve, good evening. Yes, I agree, Steve. I do need a haircut. I haven't had it this long, I don't think, in decades, man. So how was it foraging for food down there in Montreal, Darren? Hokey Dine 7 o'clock already. I better get this thing going. Make sure everything is set up. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. Bonus points tonight. Anybody can tell me what group used that at the beginning of a song. And no Googling it, although you probably have just now. Good evening, everybody. It's Laird VE3LKS, and welcome to, what week is it? Week 9, a Tuesday night edition of the COVID-19 Rag Chew. So at this time, I will be quiet, and I'll sit back, and I'll take some check-ins.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Whiskey Juliet. VA3 KJI. VE3 CIU. CF. VA3 AG. VA3 WTR. Victor Alpha 3 Tango Papa Sierra. Victor Echo 3, Victor Golf Juliet. Victor Echo 3 Kilowatt Zulu Tango. VE3 IRB. VE3 IGX. VE3 RPN.
Okay, I'll tell you what I've got so far, and I know for sure I've probably missed a few because I think there was some doubling there. But let's give it a go here. I've got VA3 RTV Jeffrey, VE3 PWJ Peter, VA3 KJI Grant, VE3 CRU Bill, VA3 AG Eldo, VE3 WDR. That's a new call for me. I hope I got the call letters right. But that's what I thought I heard. VA3 TPS Steve, VE3 VGJ Joe, VE3 KZT John, VE3 IRB Robert, VE3 IGX Cam, VE3 RPN Scott, VA6 HEM Mike. Anybody else I missed? Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3 Delta Charlie Echo.
Okay, very good. I only missed one call in that whole pile up. That's not too bad. I'll take that. Oh, and on our YouTube channel, it looks like we have a winner already. Gary Zed responded that it was Platinum Blonde, and he's correct. It was Platinum Blonde that used that at the beginning of one of their songs. So congratulations, Gary. You win a free night on the Rag Chew. Complimentary of the North Shore Amateur Radio Club. So feel free to cash that in any night, and we'll also hook you up with a free round at the North Shore Cantina there online, because it looks like Jeff's on there tonight as well, and he's got macaroni guacamole. Don't know if that's a real thing or not, but anyways, the guys are having fun on the YouTube channel, and with that, we'll go way back up to the top. and say good evening to Jeffrey. And the topic of this evening will be what amateur-related project or related project have you built recently? We don't want a list of all 37 of them that everyone's done. Just the one that you've done recently, or I'll even give you the leeway of the one that was most meaningful to you. And try not to time out the repeater with your replies. Take it away, Jeffrey. VA3RTV V3LKS.
Yeah, thank you very much, Laird, and good evening, everybody. First of all, that Listen with Mother from early 50s, that used to be a children's program in England, and that's where I first heard it. So just thought I'd let you know that. I actually did just complete a small project. It was a 50 amp tester. It does the voltage and the current at the same time, and it was kind of like a kit, though. I got at the flea market, the Handfest, but it was only components, so I had to make a housing and what have you. In any case, it turned out very nice. And with that, back to you, Les. Thanks very much.
Very interesting, Jeffrey. It sounds like a lot of fun. And just reading some of the comments on here. Let's see. Steve's in the same boat as me. He feels like a hippie with his long hair. Darren, yeah, Darren's in Montreal right now, so he's just on the YouTube channel. But we were talking on the weekend, and he was going to take some food with him because he wasn't sure what was going to be open. And he says it's a good thing there's not much open. Let's see. I guess I got it confused. Jeff was saying it's Taco Tuesday featuring Marconi guacamole. Oh, Jeff's a punster, so that's a good one. I'll have to admit that. And he seems to tie them in with amateur radio, so the guy's doing well. Next on the list, VE3PWJ Peter.
Well, good evening, Laird, and all the good folks we have in there tonight. So he's going to be a good net by the sound of it. Basically, what I've done was fixing any ham radio-related stuff with my rotator control box. It didn't want to work properly a lot of the time, so I took all the connections off, redid them all. Then for my remote base station, if I want to call it that, when we go and do the bicycle thing, I did some connection changes on the battery. So that's more or less what I've been doing. So go ahead there, Laird, and get some more beans for the old pot there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make some room in the fridge for all this leftover chili I've been making with all the beans too, Peter, because they're sure adding up over time, that's for sure. Very good. Yeah, it matters. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's something related to ham radio. That's perfect. So now we know where to take rotors to control boxes to get fixed. VA3 KJI Grant.
Yeah, good evening, Laird, and everyone else on frequency. Kind of a nice day today compared to like January, I guess. Still made it out for 2 walks, heading out for a third one pretty quick, so this will be my only go around tonight. I hear the sighs and moans in the background. But as far as ham radio projects, not a lot, Laird. I did get my G5 RV remounted. Hasn't changed the SWR much, so I have another experiment to try with it once it turns into getting up in the roof weather again. And I guess that's it. I have been playing with my radios much more, obviously, in the last couple of months. So that's probably the only positive I can see of the whole damn thing. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, well, at least some of you guys can see a positive. I've been working, so it's been business as usual. So I really haven't had the luxury of being able to just sort of relax a bit. And the only good thing I had happen was recently on the weekend I made a run for it over to Princess Auto and Canadian Tire and sat there and breathed in all the fumes of that, all that molded manufactured equipment that they have in stock there, and that was about it. But yeah, it's been fun though. Very good. Well, at least you're keeping out of trouble, Grant, and that's the main thing. VE3CRU, Bill.
VE3CRU had to hunt for the microphone. It dropped between my legs. All right. Okay, I got several things. I'll hold off tonight's topic till round two. But first of all, this is also Nurses Week. So I tip of the hat to Victor Alpha 3 Tango Papa Sierra and all of his colleagues that have done a great job, and some who have fallen in their line of duty. And to our nurses out there, especially those on the front line, helping the front line right now. My wife was a nurse that passed away 20 years ago, I guess. Well, 2001 anyway, 19 years ago. And that would be her class's 53rd reunion. But got some other problems going on here. Nothing to panic about. Nothing that wouldn't be anticipated. And I was hoping to catch Ryan on. He hasn't come in yet. And for the last thing, I have a topic for next Monday. So as I say, I'll pass it back to you, Larry.
Okay, very good, Bill. Let's see who's next. VA3AG Eldo, and hopefully your neighbor doesn't have their plasma TV on too much today.
Well, good evening, Laird, and everyone else on the repeater. Let's see, I came home from work today. I guess I got home at around 4:15 or so. And I cut the grass in the backyard, and then I came over to the radio to see what was going on 75, and sure enough, the noisemaker was not on, so I enjoyed about an hour on 75, and then all of a sudden the noisemaker started up again. Now I turned it off. I guess it started, well, let's see, 6:30 I was going to get over to the sandbox net, and sure enough, they turned the TV on, so I turned everything off. I couldn't be bothered. But it doesn't bother, VHF or UHF, so it's okay. It's always good to go back to VHF or UHF. Anyway, not much more to add, Laird. Kind of cold out there. Hopefully we'll get a better weather tomorrow. They tell us that we're going to be getting lots of sunshine tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd heard that rumor too, Aldo, and then it's supposed to rain the whole long weekend. Not that it matters. I mean, what's a long weekend when you can't go anywhere anyways? So, very good. And Jimmy online is saying he's not hearing anything on the YouTube stream. If anybody else is on YouTube and cannot hear the audio, let me know. Just put a message across the bottom. But so far, it seems to be just Jimmy, because I think Joe said he can hear it fine. VE3WDR. I hope I have the call correctly. Good evening and welcome to the COVID-19 Rag Chew.
Thank you, Mr. Call. This is VE3WDR. Edgar is the person here. This is the person to call this station. I belong to Scarborough Amateur Radio Club. I've been a ham radio operator for 15 years, but I was off about 4 or 5 years because of my antenna was blown down by a big wind. Anyway, no traffic. Just getting in touch with you. Anyway, that's all I can say. I'll be on this side. Thank you.
Okay, very good. And I looked up your call. I believe you said your name was Ronald. Is that correct?
My call is V3WTR. Edgar is the personal.
Okay, very good, Edgar. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. And yeah, we've been doing this now every night. We're on week what week are we on? Week 9 now. Doing this. We usually have a rag chew once a week on Tuesday evenings. But since this COVID-19 broke out, we've been doing it every weeknight. So Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock, we gather together here and just shoot the breeze and give everybody a chance to reach out and chat with someone. And if they need help with anything, it's a good group to reach out technically to, or if you're local, to get some help with something. So yeah, great to have you with us. And don't be a stranger. We will probably get 2 rounds in tonight, so stick around if you're not busy, and we'll give you another kick at the cat, and maybe you can tell us if you've been working on any projects. Let's see, VA3, TPS, Steve, way up there in Fenland Falls.
Well, good evening, Leonard, and to everybody on frequency. Another fine group. Dragnet going again, that's good to hear. I guess the biggest thing I've done recently, I guess, would be the new shack we're working on it, getting it set up, and still haven't got the antennas all done, but the 40-meter vertical is working great. I just worked into Bulgaria, Italy, and Australia on 40 meters, so it's doing a good job. So we're slowly getting there and having a lot of fun while doing it. Back to you, Larry.
Excellent. 40-meter vertical. You're doing great, Steve. And were you in the contest on the weekend? That the same one that Bob was on, the CW one?
No, you don't do too well at 3 or 4 words a minute in a contest. I had it up to about 12 to 15, and I just I haven't even tried it 10 or 12 years. I keep saying I'm going to try to get it back up again and play with it, but then other things come up.
Okay, very good. Yes, I know what you mean. And I don't know about you, but ham radio is like not a hobby for those of us who are attention deficit, because something new will come along and it's like squirrel, and off you're running in a different direction. I'm probably a master of none of them, but I enjoy just about every mode. So it's fun. And so very good, Steve. Glad you're getting some good use of that new shack that you had built and that antenna. VE3 VGJ Joe.
Good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency. Yeah, actually, just the project that just finished up here. I got it painted yet for amateur radio. It's the box to carry my HF rig back and forth up north there during the summer. It's about 2 feet wide, 16 inches deep, and about 7 inches high. And it's split in the middle and piano hits on the bottom and catches. And anyway, put the radio in it, holds it securely, doesn't move around, also room enough for a power supply and the mics and the cable. So it's a little heavy, but it's all in one box and it's nice and secure. And another thing just about the weather here, unfortunately, my neighbors have a nice magnolia tree. I also usually call it a tulip tree. And unfortunately, this cold weather, the frost has really damaged the bloom. It's not out in full bloom, and it's unfortunate to see everything already all bound, and it really was never out. Too bad. Back to you.
Excellent, Joe. Did you say that you had lined your box with like a heavy-duty foam?
No, I use strategic points on the radio where there's pressure points on there where I can fly, stop it from moving sideways, and then it also has feet. So you can, when you lift the radio up, there's a handle on the one side and feet on the side of it. So those things are all secured. And then what happens when the lid comes down, there's a relatively firm foam that I have that sort of just compresses it a bit so it holds it very steady inside the box.
Okay, very good. I thought I'd heard you mention foam, but I didn't know whether you had lined the whole box or not. Excellent. Sounds good. And knowing your precision, that thing probably just fits in there just like, it probably goes in there really slick and it doesn't budge at all. It looks like Brian, our friend VA3BAH, he's also on the YouTube channel tonight, watching and listening in. and he's oh, Brian, can you believe this, guys? He's not coming on to our rag chew tonight because he's got to go to the one. He's got to be on the one in Kingston. Of course, he is the president of the Kingston Amateur Radio Club, so it might be good that he's on there. So very good, Brian. Say hi to everybody down there in Kingston for us, and tell them to look us up on the YouTube station. And for anybody who may be listening to us on Broadcastify, if you go to YouTube and then look up my call sign, and my call sign is Victor Echo 3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra VE3 LKS, you'll find the live stream. Ooh, excitement of me talking on the radio on this rag chew. Let's see, VE3 KZT John.
Good evening, Laird, and all those on frequency tonight. Well, we haven't been doing too much the last couple of days, too cold. But
Yes.
my current project is trying to build a 30-foot sulfur rack tower for my antennas. So, getting old and weary, and I want to just have something I can push a button and have it stand up or lay down. How about that? And the E3 KZT back to the net.
Well, once you get that figured out for the tower, can you figure that out for me too? I need that in the morning sometimes.
Oh, yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah, knowing you guys, though, the test run will be like an ejector seat where it doesn't just easily lift you out of bed. It just throws you across the room and it'll be splat against the wall. Oh, very good. Well, that sounds good, John. And it's too bad we got this COVID thing going on, man, because I'm sure we could have like a whole group of guys in your backyard helping you out. It'd be fun for a lot of us to do that kind of thing. So once this is over, don't fret if you need some hands to put things up. I'm sure we'll be able to get a small crowd over there. You may have to limit the people coming through the gate. VE3 IRB, Robert.
V3 IRB. Well, I've been doing a lot of sorting of stuff. I rearranged my desk and my radio there just to make everything within easier reach. Not a great radio project, but I guess every little thing counts. I had to move around the antennas and things like that, feed lines, and I actually put on cable ties to tidy up all the cables because it was getting to be a bit of a dog's breakfast. But that was my big radio project. Back to you.
Excellent. Well, it's stuff that needs to get done. I know I'm looking around my shack right now, and so far my ham radio cables are doing well. But let me tell you, when it comes to all my other stuff like computers and hard drives and printers and turntables and everything else, yeah, I need to do a cleanup. It's like anything. It's an evolution, right? You get something, you plug it in, and it works, and you forget about it, and then you look at it a few weeks later and go, oh yeah, I got to reroute that cable so it doesn't look so bad. But that's good. You'll be a lot happier once you do get everything all straightened around. That's for sure. VE3 IGX Cam.
Good evening, Laird, and everyone on frequency. The audio YouTube is okay in my area, and the only thing I built since I got back into ham radio is my 2-meter half-wave dipole out in the backyard that I'm using right now. Took a little run down to Sunnybrae Golf Club for a coffee this morning, and they're going to be opening up soon. Not soon enough for us, but we'll get her done. Anyway, we'll give it on back to you. VE3 LKS, VE3 IGX.
Oh, Cam, I didn't realize that you were a golfer. So not only do you ride a motorcycle and keep guys like Jeffrey and Bob happy, but you're a golfer. So I didn't know that. We'll have to keep that in mind. Maybe this summer sometime we'll have to have the first annual North Shore Amateur Radio Club Invitational and get all us hackers out there and see what fun we can have. Very good, Cam. Well, do let us know when they open, because I know I've been waiting to hear from my course, but so far nothing. But then, of course, the government hasn't said they can open quite yet, so it may be just a wee bit longer yet. VE3 RPN Scott, and man, I hope your day went well.
Yeah, thanks there, Laird. V3 LKS, V3 RPM. Oh, it's been a rough one, but we got through, and don't worry about the discount. I managed to get them home in the trunk of the car. I got as much when I'm saying I feel like that, even though he's gone now, my father-in-law, that is. Yeah, it was hard on the wife there. Didn't get to work on what I wanted to work on the VX5 there. I kind of got tied up. Yeah, we're not doing anything fancy. No funeral, just a simple, in and out kind of deal. Told him I'd bury him at sea, but he didn't like my idea, and I thought it was great. You take the ashes into the bathroom. His buddy that lives a couple doors down from him get together, and every flush we put a little more down, and we blow the Navy whistle. I don't know what he's thinking. So pretty good, Laird. The E3 RPN.
Oh, Scotty, it's good you have a sense of humor, man. Well, sorry to hear about your father-in-law, but at least he didn't. It didn't appear that he suffered very long. I don't know whether other ailments he may have had, but when you're going to go, it's good to go quickly. I always tell my kids I don't want to sit there staring up at a ceiling for 2 or 3 years. Just wheel me down, in front of a train or something and get it over with. But yeah, it's. I'm glad that was good, and eventually everything works down to the ocean. So he will be buried at sea eventually. But I can only imagine what he would have said back to you, Scott. And very good. Well. Sorry to hear that, but again, it's at least it's done with. VA6 HEM, Mike, way out there in Alberta.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Matt here, VA6 HEM with VE3 LKS in the group. Great net. Hopefully I'm getting with the audio okay. I got through the Bluetooth of the van here. Big projects I've had going was, ever since this COVID stuff started, literally just threw the shack together. Bought a FTDX 1200, got it running, got the, what is that now, the signal, got it up running for digital, and then threw the wire up all within within a week, really, really quick. So I don't really got any other projects, just trying to figure one thing out, just trying to get comforts, how to split the comforts for the rig there. So I run the remote, and we're working on that system right now is to get the with the remote hands working. Working inside the house, which is great. Just got to figure the comforts. But other than that, not much. Back to you, Laird.
The way I figure this, you're going to get everything all set up, completed, nice and neat and tidy, and all ready to go, working at full capacity, and you're going to get the call. We need you tomorrow in the ice fields. And there it will sit for a few months. Oh, I hope not. I hope you get a couple of weeks out of it. But very good, Mike. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun. And, what more fun can you have than setting up a ham radio shack? VA3 DCE, VE3 LKS.
Good evening, Laird. I was just noticing here that your hair is getting awfully long. It's getting so long you had to comb it before the show tonight. I got the urge to polish mine, but I sure took care of it anyway. My big project for amateur radio was assembling a massive 3-element beam. I only had one part left over when I got done. I found out that taking the thing apart was an awful lot harder than putting it together. But it was a little more stable when I got it put together correctly, and it does work not too bad. Anyway, Laird, back to you.
Yeah, well, as I say, Doug, if you only have one part left over when you put it together, you've done it wrong, because you should have 3 or 4 left over if you've assembled it correctly. Hi. Oh, very good. And that little beam's making a good job. That massive beam. That's the same one you had in the back seat of your pickup truck a couple of weeks ago. So it's nice hearing it in action, and it's a nice little antenna. I've got an MFJ 3-element beam, but it's not like that. It just all the elements just screw in, and So maybe I should throw that in my vehicle, and next time we're getting groceries or something on the weekend, I can show it to you. With that, we're at the bottom of the list. So far we got 14 check-ins online or on the radio, and it looks like we have about 7 more on YouTube. So I'll take a standby, and if anybody wants to check into the Rag Chew, now's your opportunity. This is Laird, VE3LKS.
V3 Whiskey Bravo Zulu.
VE3 RMK.
VE3HIX.
Okay, I copy VA3 WBZ, that's William, VE3 RMK Ken, and VE3 HIX Bob. Anybody else? Okay, I acknowledge Mark and Ryland, VE3 DKW. Anybody else? Okay, very good. Ryland, you were a bit weak on your signal there, so I'm not sure if you're standing in the same spot as you were last night. But if you can move a bit, that'd be handy when it comes your turn here. Let's go back up to William, VA3 WBZ, and the topic of this evening is what amateur radio project have you worked on lately? Or which is sort of the highlight of the radio projects that you've ever worked on. So take it away, and good evening.
Good evening, Laird, all of us on net. I haven't worked on anything that's actually radio, but just a small engine I've been working on, which
we'll
is
count
power
that.
supply for the communication cords back to the Second War. That's the only thing I'm working on there. Haven't done anything else. Long as the other equipment I've got and stuff like that. So, no, nothing to do other than the generator I've been working on. Sounds like a pretty good Rag Chew going on tonight too, with all the other guys out there and the equipment that they're working on. Quite interesting, fellas. I'll pass it back to you, Laird, till next time around.
Okay, very good, William. And yes, that generator does count as radio equipment, really, because if you're doing a field day or something, you need a generator. So we'll let that one slide under into the category of amateur radio equipment. And yeah, there's sort of method to my madness with this. See, being the host of the Rag Chew and picking the topic, sometimes there's method to your madness. And now I know what everyone sort of specializes in. So when I need something done, I know who to call. Hi. Let's see. VE3 RMK Ken. Good evening.
Good evening, Laird, and everyone on net. It's great to be here. The only project I'm working on is replacing the selenium rectifier in an old power supply. The voltage dropping resistor I decided to omit because the more voltage you get out of it, the better. Back to you, Laird. This is VE3 RMK.
Oh, excellent. Now you said it was an old power supply. How old are we talking here?
Well, I remember them from when I was in high school, so it's pretty old. Over.
Okay, very good. I got a general idea then. Perfect. Well, that's been around for a while, so I wish you well in getting that up and running again and putting it back into service. VE3 HIX Bob.
Yeah, good evening, Laird. Good evening, everybody on the repeater. I'm always into projects of tuning and tweaking and testing, so I've checked every rig here into the remote receiver, one in Washington, D.C., and then you can see and hear yourself come back through the internet 1 second later. Make sure there are no chirps and clicks and drifting and so forth. Everything seems to be working now. And, of course, I've restored and trying to master this old Morse code bug that I've got here, the old SpeedX. And I can see why there are at least 3 people I can name that are on here tonight that collect these things and look at these things, but don't ever try to use these things because they are just about impossible Back to you, Laird. VE3HIX.
Very good. I didn't realize that there was a chink in the armor of VE3HIX and Morse code capabilities, but I guess we found your kryptonite, and excellent. Uh, you, yeah, I guess there's some things. I think that's the one that you were showing us at Tim Hortons one night, was it not?
Yeah, that's the one I took the paint off, and there's all this nickel underneath. Hey, this is great. But then using it, what I do seriously is try a paddle, a straight key, and a bug into a Morse code decoder, the one that belongs to the club, or I can use software to do the same thing. And you can put perfect code in using the paddle and the straight up and down straight key, but you can never get a perfect sentence out of a bug without it showing an error somewhere. So it's quite difficult. Over.
Okay, very good. Well, I know the work that you've done on it, so it will make a very nice showpiece to sit on a shelf, and when people come in, you can puff your chest up and say, "Oh yes, that's the bug that I've restored and brought back to its former glory." And just hope they never ask you to use it. Very good, Bob. VE3 DKW, Mark and Ryland.
Good evening to everyone on the net, and I haven't been doing anything with the radio lately, but last night I was just wiring up a few things, and I was stripping a wire, and with the X-Acto knife, and the knife slipped and went into my leg, so oof. And that's pretty much all I've been doing, just wiring and doing all that stuff, so back to you, Ed.
Okay, Rylan, here's a question of the night. Is it on your right leg and about maybe a third of the way up from your knee to your thigh?
I'm thinking that yes, you are correct.
Well, you're in good company, because that's where I did it to myself once too. So we all do it once probably, and we all learn from it. So take it as a learning experience. And yeah, I know what that feels like. What size of cable were you stripping?
Oh, it's one of those very thick ground wires.
Okay. Yeah, they can be a bit of a pain. It's really good if you have a hook blade, but yeah, other than that, you're just taking your life in your hands. So, well, I hope you heal up quickly, and you will survive. You will become an amateur radio operator someday, like your dad. And we're just glad you don't have to have stitches or something. So, very good, Rylan. Let's see. Anybody else wanting to check into the Rag Chew tonight? If so, please come now. Okay, nothing heard, so we'll look up. We'll look way up, all the way back to Jeffrey, VA3RTV. And this round, you can give us another project that you worked on or whatever you would like to do. And so far, Taco Tuesday at the virtual cantina on YouTube is doing just bang up business. Anyways, take it away, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thank you very much, Laird. And so just been racking my brain thinking of, because I'm into so many projects here, but trying to find things that are interesting to say. But I have been doing a few repairs. Peter could vouch for one of them. Other than that, and I think I did mention this earlier, where I bought all my handhelds, which was quite a considerable number of them, and charged them all. I have a power bar that's got loads and loads of outlets on it now, so I've got that. Makes life a bit easier. And then every handheld is in a box with all its accessories, the box is labelled, thanks to Bob, and then I've put a red dot on it to know that that needs charging regularly, and I've got a list. So that was, was quite the project. And I just feel a little more comfortable now, because if you let a battery get down below a certain level, the charger thinks that there's no battery connected, and it will do nothing at all. So it's quite important to keep an eye on your batteries. All the best, and I'll be hopefully another round, but we'll see. Thanks. See you later. The APRTV.
Yes, and actually, since you mentioned this a week or so ago, you mentioned that you were doing the battery, or you were going to be doing the battery charging. It spawned me into doing the same thing. So I know the last few nights I just take one out at night and plug it in, and in the morning I unplug it and put the next one in, and so it's good. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing that. Let me know when it's time to do it again, though. Okay, you're going to be our schedule. And who knows, maybe there's other guys on here that are following your schedule too. VE3 PWJ, Peter.
Hey, Roger, on everything so far tonight, Laird. I'm still waiting for a power supply order. It's just a
Pyramid 12 amp to run this radio on, and they through Amazon, but I don't know how that operation works, because I think it came out from New York State, and I did track it, and I was down in Peterborough, New Jersey, wherever that is, and it's supposed to be here on Thursday, so it just didn't say what Thursday, but that's the way the delivery system works. Anyway, good evening to everybody, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow night there, Laird.
How many amps did you need for that?
This one's only a 12 amp, because it's only the TM742A, so it'll run fine. I have the other TM742A that's on a 10 amp supply, and it works just fine.
Yeah, unless you're running full power, chances are you'd never come anywhere close to that. Okay, very good, good. And yes, well, things are all screwy with Amazon right now. I can't even say screwy. There we go. Some things are coming like almost in 2 days. Other things, which is the exact same part, is going to be arriving next week.